My name is Colin Demers, and I'm an owner and operator of a hotel, restaurant, and conference center in upstate New York by the name of the Century House. I have tried in the past a virtual assistant, and it didn't work out well. Quite honestly, there never seemed to be a connection. And it was so task oriented and limited, and the service of the company that I was working with, I just wasn't satisfied at all. And unfortunately, I abandoned it after just a few weeks because I just knew it wasn't for me. And I had heard so much about it. And unfortunately, it turned me off of it for a little bit until I discovered Outsourcing Angels, I have to tell you. Well, obviously in the hospitality and hotel world, with COVID hitting, I was looking and taking advantage of that time to educate and re-educate myself on a number of different things about my business. And one of them that I honestly stumbled upon was Dave Jen and his book, Systemology. So I read the Systemology book about how to systemize your business, and having a hotel and restaurant and repeated tasks and how often that I am repeating what to do and how to do it and train was perfect for me. So much so that I contacted Dave Jennings' organization and I went for certification on how to be a systemologist. So I've taken that time to systemize my own business. And in that training of systemology, it came out you really should look at a virtual assistant to help you with the documentation and a lot of the administrative work as systemizing my business. And now I'm doing it for other businesses because I've really learned along the way. I have the bookshelf behind me here has a lot of binders of SOPs in it that nobody's looked at. And now I have a system that everybody's looking at on how we run our hotel. So I do need virtual assistant for that. And thank goodness they mentioned you and I connected to your company, and I still can't believe how great your company's run. What was very difficult for me in hiring someone local is it always seemed to be a scheduling issue, believe it or not. And that may seem to be bizarre because I'm working right now with someone in a total different time zone, but it's working out terrific, right? But there was always an issue, and there was always not a great match with what we were trying to do. The administrator that was looking for help into my office in a hospitality culture, they almost couldn't deal with it because of the activity. There's always what we call is putting out fires, right? One of our values is guest first. We're about to start a big leadership meeting, but a guest needs something at that moment. We're going to take care of the guest because that's the kind of hotel that we are. And the people that I would interview for that office position just couldn't take that kind of environment. And when you do virtual assisting, that's not an issue because they understand I've got to break away in a Zoom call. I'll be right back to you, whatever. I don't have those issues at all. One of them is how I would communicate with them and that they would understand what I wanted and then bring it back to me in a timely manner, and that they wouldn't get frustrated if I couldn't get with them at that moment. You know, another frustration is if I hired local, they're standing at my desk waiting for an answer. You know what? No, I'm sorry. I'm not going to get to that. I can't tell you when I'm going to get to it, but I don't have to deal with any of that because right now it's, we're communicating on Slack. So they know if I'm not getting back to them in a half hour, they're not worried about it. They know I'm going to get back to them. And that exchange just works out really well. From the very beginning, every person that I've talked to at Outsourcing Angel, I would call has a great heart and is a really good person and is real. And what blew me away in particular was I had 3 candidates that I interviewed. I would have hired any one of the 3. And there was a person that, Heidi, that I had spoken to, right? Everyone with your firm was they were intuitive and they related to me particularly well, but the quality of the people were amazing. And I'm working with Save right now, who's just a fantastic person. And I hope we can continue, and just makes me feel good to be working with her. I would say, like all the great CEOs out there say, you should have done it a year ago. It's like that termination that you have to make in your business, and you do it and you realize you should have done it 6 months ago. Hiring a VA is the same way. It's like you don't know what you're missing, and you really calculate how much time costs you, and you really need to work with that person. Spend the time in being clear with the tasks that you need, but you're going to be able to leverage your time, and I think you'll be totally satisfied.